Hello, 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 and welcome to Expand the Conversation with Jillian, episode 32. In today's episode, I have my dear friend Stephanie Lopez and salon owner. She's a esthetician and has her own salon. It is called Viridian Spa in Katy, Texas. And I was getting a facial from her a while back, and we were actually talking about her journey into becoming a spa owner and kind of how she really felt called to talk about some of the things that happen at med spas. So that's where this episode was birthed. And we talk about fantasy books. We talk about unsafe med spa practices and some of the things that have happened behind the curtain and what you need to watch out for when you are looking for, med spa treatments or facials. Honestly, if you're in the Houston area and you need a facial, you should just talk to Stephanie. She is amazing. Literally, I trust her with my skin more than anybody. And my eyebrows, she does amazing. She does waxing, she does facials, and she's just a magic with her hands. So she is one of my favorite people, definitely the only esthetician that I work with. And in this conversation, we talk about med spa red flags and unsafe skincare practices, why quick fixes don't fix skin, how lifestyle and hormones impact skin health, Korean skincare versus American skincare, building a simple, effective routine, acne, dry skin, and barrier health, teen skin, sports, and skincare basics, and how to choose an esthetician you can trust. So for those of you that are not in the Houston area, she gives some tips on what to look out for when picking an esthetician. But this episode was so fun to record. She is such a good friend of mine, and I'm so grateful she came on. We do talk about Black Friday stuff in this episode. We recorded it a while back, and it's taken me a while to get it posted, so ignore that, but don't let that shy you away from working with her. She does do these incredible social media pricing as well, where if you're okay with being recorded during your facial, she'll record it and then she'll use it for marketing on her social media. So if this is something that you feel called to and you're in the Houston area, definitely hit Stephanie up. She's amazing. And let's get into it. On today's episode, I have with me my dear friend, esthetician, and owner of Viridian Spa in Katy, Stephanie Lopez with me. Hi, Stephanie.
Hello, hello.
How are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm so excited to be on your podcast.
I'm so excited too. You are definitely my favorite esthetician, hands down. I love what you do with my skin when I'm able to go in frequently. And I just always love our conversations, and you just have the touch. You know what I mean?
Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. I work really hard on that, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, oh, wow, I probably started going to you in like 2020, huh? Ish, 2020,
Yeah,
2021.
when I had the other business, yeah.
Yeah. Wild. What a
I
wild five
know.
years it's been.
Yeah, time has flown by. It's crazy.
Yeah. And I'm excited. I'm going to ask you the three questions that I always ask the guests at the beginning, but I'm excited to dive into some of your other experiences at other spas because I
Yeah.
know you've been looking for a platform to kind of like talk about the side of estheticianism that no one talks about. I'm going to make up words.
Yeah.
This is who I am as a person.
I love that. Yes,
I know.
the dark side of aesthetics, maybe.
Dun, dun, dun. I was going to dress up so everyone knows today. I did not, but I was going to get the detective vibes on because this is an expose. Like, this is
It
the
went down the
expose
whole
vibes.
Carmen San Diego.
Nice and gumshoe. I don't know. I don't even know what a gumshoe is, but that's what she said. Yeah. If I had one, it'd be in my eye the whole time. I thought about getting a monocle just because I'm like,
Oh my gosh,
Jillian,
could you imagine? That thing would probably be falling off the
the entire time. There's like a fake pipe. I was like, I can go deep.
Actually, that is like really funny, having a pipe.
Just pretending.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming along with us, everyone. Anyway, I hope you at least laugh in this episode, anyone that's listening, but I know you will absolutely learn a lot. Stephanie is one of those practitioners that is very honest and open and really cares about the client. And so that's why she's really wanting to bring a lot of this to light. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's why.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's why I always trust you. And you're my favorite esthetician because it's always important to have people that you can like trust and you know they're not selling you things just to sell you things.
Absolutely. Because I like to think, or I like to treat my clients how I like to be treated. I don't want to be sold things. I want to be told things that matter to me, absolutely. But I don't want to be, I can smell a sale very easily and I'm instantly turned off.
Hmm.
So I'm very like aware of that in my own business. And, I try to have conversations with clients. I try to probe by asking questions like, what do we want to work on? What do we want to see? From there, everything just is more organic as opposed to I used to work in places and it's all about like, you need to sell 10 eye creams. Well, not every person needs an eye cream, like, you know what I'm saying? So I don't, that's not my philosophy. It's not to like push sales. It's about like what works for you and who you are as a person and what you want to achieve and how can we achieve that together.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important. It's so important because
Absolutely.
you can't always just focus on the sale, right? Like, if you can't customize what someone's coming to you for, then what's the point?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've always I know like we just live in a world of consumption and I used to be that person back in the day too. But I also I mean the economy is tough right now. I understand that facials are not a priority for many people. So I always try to keep those things in mind too. But like I try to meet everyone where they're at, right? So if you have a bunch of stuff at home, I'm like, don't toss it. Let's see what's workable, what works for you, what doesn't work. Maybe give it to someone else if it doesn't, or use it on your body. I always tell people, don't throw serums away. Just put it on your arms, your legs, make that you spent money on that, right? So
Right.
I always try to meet people where they're at and then like, hey, okay, when you run out of something, let's slowly introduce things. You don't need a whole 10-step routine. Not everyone's skin is the same. Everyone just has different requirements. And I try to just like do my best to fit in the pieces to give them something easy to deal with at home.
I love that. I love that
Yeah.
bite-sized pieces that are
Yeah.
manageable instead of like, hey, you have to throw out the baby with the bathwater and then just replace everything. Sorry about the money you spent.
Right. And I try not to shame people on what they buy too, because, my first question usually when someone uses something that I probably would never touch, I just say, how does that work for you? Oh, it works great. Okay, well then, keep using it. Is it going to get you where you want to go? No, but let's see how we can work with that.
Yeah,
That's kind of always been my philosophy.
I love it. I love it. All right, let's dive into these questions because I know we will get distracted and we'll go off on a tangent rapidly. So let's knock these out and then we can tangent away. So, first question is, what is your favorite thing right now?
Oh, that's hard because have many favorite things.
You can do three if you want. This isn't the
Um,
first time I've given this pass, so
Favorite things right now. I'm kind of like I'm really into like filming, like not like big scale filming, but like trying to romanticize my life through like filming things, if that makes any sense.
yeah, absolutely.
Um, I'm very much an artistic person and I feel like that shows in everything that I do. And right now, I know that like social media, if I could live my life behind closed doors, I would. But being that like my business has to be put out there and social media is like free 99, I'm really trying to get myself into the spirit of like romanticizing that, right? Filming things, not just to film them, but like find a perspective that's like really interesting to me and I'm like in the vibe right now with that. So, and I go up and down with that, but right now I'm in the vibe. Like I got all my cameras. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna shoot this. I'm gonna shoot that. I'm gonna, all this stuff. So I'm like really into it right now.
I love that.
That's one. Two. Uh, let's see. I mean, I'm a big reader and I love fantasy books specifically. I've been so busy that I haven't been able to read as much, but I'm really trying to get into more like these old epic fantasy books, books that like people don't really talk about anymore, not that what's like new, things that were at least like 10, 15 years old. And I'm kind of like diving into that right now and I'm loving it.
I love it. What's what's the name of one of the books that are like 10 to 15 years old
Here,
that you're like
let
going
me pull it
into?
up because I have my Goodreads because I keep track of all my books. Right now, I just started and I'm definitely into it. It's called The Lost Queen by I don't know how to pronounce her name is Signe Pike. It's about like 10 years old. Um, Pretty interesting so far. Um, there's this series called the Pelennor series by Alison Krogan. Very good. I read all those books. Haven't read the novellas, but I read the main. There's about 4 books in that series. Those were pretty good. And I I read so much. I was like, I don't know. There's a bunch of books, but I'm like dipping my toes in too many of them. I'm
Yeah.
reading The 13th Tale, and I think that's an oldie too, and it's pretty interesting. They're very lyrical, I will say, compared to like what we read now.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, ooh, eventually I want to get into like the Lord of the Rings, like actually reading it and those epic fantasies. So
Yeah.
I'm working my way in there.
I love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Love a good fantasy read.
Yes.
I know. We've gone into the depths with the fantasy books. You
Yes.
you ran with it much further than I have still. There's still a long list that I've got to catch up to you.
Oh,
But
I'm like the worst. I'm the person that gets like obsessive about everything. Like if I have so many hobbies, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I will drive it to the ground and then I'm like, what's next? Burnt out on that, burnt out on this. And then I always make like a full circle, but definitely I read like 190 books last.
I
I haven't read
believe
anything.
it.
Like
I believe it.
I
I
spent so
believe
many
it.
hours on that. But now I'm like, okay, hey, I need to like focus on like structure and business. And so now I'm in my like recording and romanticizing my life and business mode right now. So books are kind of taking a backseat.
Yeah. Or books. You'll get them back soon. They'll
I'm
be
just like, I got 5 of them that came in through Libby, and I'm like, I can't read you all.
I have to release them. I love the filming and romanticizing your life too. I actually did a podcast episode with a friend of mine who's like focused. She's a photographer, but she talks a lot about romanticizing life. And so we talked about it the whole podcast episode. And it always makes such a difference for people to see like, and it almost goes into that saying of like, are you looking for glimmers or triggers, right?
Yeah.
Like, where are you at on the spectrum? Are you looking for good things that are happening to you? Because
Mhm.
I think people forget a lot of the time, even when there is like a feeling of bad in their life, right? There's still a lot of good that's
Mhm.
coming through, and they don't even like see it. They're like, no, no.
Mhm.
And so we can always get stuck in that place. So I think the romanticizing your life is a beautiful reminder. But I love your content. We talk about this all the time.
Thank you.
Um, I love your content, and I think you're just great at it. It's just, it's a skill I'm learning.
I know we do talk about this often. It's just honestly, and I think we're both similar in that way, but I'm learning how to utilize that time. Like I know I'm a person that I need to actually schedule my day, otherwise
Mhm.
it will not happen. Like I'll just sit with a book for 12 hours of my day and read all day, right? And that's what I was doing. So now I'm like I got things I need to do, right? So I need to be like, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to doing just this, another hour to doing this, take a break, have a lunch, another 3 hours to do this, or only an hour for that. And like I schedule my day, and then that like hones me in on like focus. So then I get it done. And if it has to be written, I can't do it on my notes. I need
Mhm.
to like old school write it down in a list of things to do. Girl, it's all like same. I need to physically write it, and otherwise, it won't happen. And that's how
Mhm.
I get any social media stuff done. Because I will sit here and be like, where do I start? Where do I begin? So I have to like put it down on paper and then tell myself, I'm going to do this, 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 and this, and it'll get done. That's the only way to get done, though.
Yeah, I love it though, and I love to check something off on a list.
Yeah.
Like, give me a pen and let me check it off. I've always been a journaling girl, so like I've had so many journals throughout my life where I just write
Mhm.
and write and write, and so I think I just connect with that.
Mhm.
But time blocking is very helpful for me too, because otherwise I'm just like, what am I doing today? You and I are very similar, and it's
Yeah.
funny because we've talked about this. I'm a Gemini, you're a Sagittarius, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so those are like the opposing on the chart.
Mhm.
They also get along together really well. And it's funny because a lot of our similarities come through, but there's still the differences.
Yeah.
Like, you're a lot quicker to be like, no, this is just how it is.
Hmm.
Where I'm like, well, maybe we could do this. And you're like, no, Jillian, just say it. I'm like,
I'll just cut it off.
yeah,
Bye.
I love it. Um, okay, so next question is, what is your favorite way to connect with yourself daily?
With myself daily, um, honestly, I don't think I have like one thing that I do daily. I'm just that person that just gets up and goes. Like, I will just, like, even as a child, I would always wake up before my alarm and I just would get up and be like, okay, time to take on the day. Like, I don't need any motivation to do things other than like having my list of things to do, right? But I get up and go, and I just kind of go as I need. I don't really think I have anything that like I need to like center myself or anything like that.
Yeah, I love it. I love to see it. Like,
Yeah.
it's so funny because sometimes people get so stuck on like, okay, well, what do I do? How do I do it? And sometimes you just don't need to. And I
Yeah.
love that. Like, I
Yeah.
love,
I think some people need that like to pep talk themselves into things, and I've always just been like, let's go.
it's
What
time.
am I gonna do? Okay.
Bye. Well, and for me, it's not so much of a like a pep talk, but like there's certain things, whether, and I never have the same thing exactly, whether it's
Mhm.
like pulling a card for the day or just setting an intention or
Mhm.
writing down things that I'm grateful for.
Mhm.
Having a cacao or a tea that I just really like intentionally set with. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things because my brain is always firing so much. And there's
Mhm.
just like, I don't think people could ever really truly understand unless they're like me, like what is happening in this head all the time. Like there is
Mhm.
always at least 25 things firing off.
Mhm.
And so for me to take that moment and really just like pull it all in,
Mhm.
whether it's just like through intention or anything, it really just helps me like connect back with something within myself, right?
Mhm.
And even if like I know some people that are Christian, they'll read the Bible, right? Like that's
Mhm.
their thing in the
Mhm.
morning,
Mhm.
and so for me that's just how I use it. But I always love to
Mhm.
see when people just kind of throw things, they're like, "No, I don't need to do that."
Mhm.
And so I love that reminder of like if you don't have that practice, like you don't need to force yourself into that box, right?
Yeah, I've
Because I think
never.
so many people try to.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like, I definitely, yeah, I am a Christian. I do read my Bible, but I do that. I don't have like a set time. I
Mhm.
just do that throughout my day, right? So I don't think I have like one thing where I need to set intention in my day. I get up and go.
Just do it. I love it.
It's like rolling out of bed with your clothes on, like, okay.
You're like, I did my makeup last night. We're good to go. We're ready. We're here for it.
Yeah, I've always been like that.
I love it. Not me. I'm like a freaking sloth in the morning. I'm like, don't look at me for 20 minutes at least and then talk to me. Don't expect a full sentence.
I've always been a morning person. Like, I've never like been angry if someone talked to me in the morning. I know some people are like that.
Yeah.
I don't need like time to gather myself. I just get up and I go and I'm like, "Hi." I'll say good morning to everybody. Hi.
Hi, everyone. I'll say hi. I don't mind if people talk to me, but like, don't come to me with a problem too early in the morning. And
I know.
I say that jokingly because like, I'll help out with the races. So sometimes I'm up at 4:30, 5:30, like doing things.
Mm,
But like it takes a minute. It truly just takes a minute for my brain to like
catch up.
turn
Mm,
on.
Mm, yeah.
I'm not an angry morning person. I'm just kind of like, hold
Yeah.
on.
No, I
Let me
know some people
process.
who are angry and I'm just like, whoa, I don't know what happened to you. But no, it's like I wake up and the plug is in and I'm just on for the day.
I love it. I love it. You're like, that's why I don't like coffee. You're like, I don't even need it.
No, I don't drink coffee. I don't
I
need
know.
caffeine.
You're like,
I'll feel like I'm having a heart attack.
no, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay, so last question,
Uh-huh.
last planned question is what is a topic you think needs to be expanded on?
I guess it's kind of like what I've been wanting to talk about, and that's just how just the downside of aesthetics, right? I know you and I have had many years of talking about this, from working in med spas. I've worked in every type of facial spa scenario, right? Day spas, big companies, waxing spa, had a partner at one point, then I worked in a med spa. I worked at two, and then I was like, enough is enough. I'm just going to do this my own way. Also, I feel like in this business, the more experience you have, the harder it is to fit into a box because you do have personal like preferences and morals and practices that you develop in the business that you start to see it gets harder and harder to find somewhere to work when you have those certain ideals. But yeah, I think that's a really big thing for me. Like, I feel personally that in my personal experience that the doctors and the in the medical field in aesthetics don't care about their clients or their patients. And that was a really big problem for me working alongside a doctor for so many years and just not believing in anything that he recommended or suggested to his clients. And some of the things were just outrageous. And I'd just be there like, you know me, I can't hide my facial expressions.
Yes.
I'd
You're
just be
like,
in the room like, sure about that? Maybe we should ask some more questions.
ask more. Ask more. They're
But
like,
yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know
I
what's going
have
on with your
friends,
face.
right? Like, I have friends who work in the medical side of aesthetics as well, and their experiences I feel so bad too because um, the disconnect between dermatologists and nurse practitioners, injectors with estheticians is so far off. Doctors will look at you for 2 seconds and start prescribing you something, but they never ask you any questions about your lifestyle. And that is just so important to any treatment. How are
Hmm.
you going to do a peel on someone's face that's going to require them 10 days downtime, but their job is to be outdoors? You don't ask
Yeah.
these questions, or maybe they're on medications that, they have you fill out these forms, but they never look at those forms.
It's
We were the
crazy.
ones taking the forms, and then they'd be in the room with the doctor and he wouldn't know anything. They never looked at it.
Never looked at the intake forms.
No.
It's almost like offensive because like people take their time to like write everything down and
And
it's
it's a lot of personal
yeah.
information. Yeah, I mean, it's important to know if you're diabetic. It's
Yeah.
important to know if you're like on cancer treatment pills. These are like important things if you have an autoimmune disease. But they just want
Yeah.
this and they don't really care. I mean, we had to do a lot of putting out fires for the things the doctor did instead of him putting out those fires. And all it took was like simple conversation with people. We
Yeah.
would be there like, oh, what treatment did you get done? I did this. And when we look at the client, like, you were never a candidate for this. We don't
Yeah.
tell them that, but you try to be like, yeah,
Let's
this
pivot.
let's see what we can do to fix this. And I
Yeah.
I used to get so upset and I was so stressed out, so burnt out. I take things very personal like that because my clients are not. I can honestly say I feel like almost all my clients are like my friends, right? Like you and
Hmm.
I, we used to go out and have lunch all the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have that connection with people, and I feel like when they're getting the wrong end of the deal, I'm getting the wrong end of the deal with them, and I always took it very personal. And I mean, I would start telling people at a certain point, like, "Don't go to this doctor. Go find somewhere else. And this is what you wanna look for, blah, 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 blah," right? Because I couldn't. It just weighed on my conscience, like, the things that were happening and being sold to them and being promised, outcomes, and that's just not how this works.
Yeah,
All for
absolutely.
money.
All for money. People do crazy things for money. And it's interesting because it's like the esthetician world, and it's so funny. It's not funny. It's actually awful. But it's interesting. That's the
Mhm.
better word. It's interesting. And it's like there's still doctors, right, that are still doing these things and suggesting these things and promising these outcomes when in reality there's still so much to look at. And even when you're talking about, okay, most people, I want
Right.
to say everybody, but most people know that our skin's the largest organ in our body, right?
Mhm.
It is one of our detox pathways.
Mhm.
So not only is it absorbing what we put on it, but
Mhm.
it's a place to excrete things.
Mhm.
And so when we talk about things like acne or skin issues, even eczema, right? I think we've
Mhm.
talked about Oren dealing with that when he was
Mhm.
little. And so there's always an inner issue.
Mhm.
And so it's like we can do so much on the exterior, but like if you're still not addressing the inside or your gut health or
Mhm.
what you're eating, like, you posted
Stress
something.
triggers, all of
Yeah, all of these things. And it's one of those things where it's like someone can put on all the moisturizer they want, but if they're smoking regularly, like you're still going to get wrinkles. Like your
absolutely.
skin's still going to be dry.
Absolutely.
And so it's like they're completely taking that part out and they're just saying, "Oh, we'll take this."
They're
They're
saying, "I
just
don't care what's going on, I'm gonna fix that," but that's just not possible.
mm-mm,
And they sell it to you with a bow on it, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get that." And most of the time, they're showing you before and afters, but they're never showing you their before and afters. That's
mm,
another thing. Most places will just take the before and afters from the company that they've done, but what they don't tell you, those were probably like 3 to 6 treatments. They probably had them in a specific home care regimen. They probably vetted those people. And so you're seeing on things that may not be relevant to you and thinking, "Oh, I'm going to get that."
yeah.
Cool. And then you get the treatment, you spend thousands of dollars. They don't tell you how to take care of it at home. They don't tell you how to prep for it before you do it. And they don't ever follow up.
Hmm.
They're like, "Bye, thanks."
Yeah. That's crazy.
I could never, like when I did microneedling, I loved microneedling on people, but I would rather scare the heck out of a person and tell them all the things that could potentially happen, and then for them to agree to do it on their own terms than to come back and be like, "Well, you didn't tell me this could happen." I mean, it may not happen, more than likely won't happen, but like these are important things that you should know, risks, right? We prep you for this, and I would always send people home with like samples to help take care of their skin, or I'd make sure like they were on something, like taking care of their skin beforehand. Because if you're not taking care of your skin and then you're getting advanced treatments, you're really doing nothing for yourself.
Hmm.
There's that too. So I always had like very honest conversations with everybody. Like, if you have a routine going on, this is what we can work towards. But if you don't want to wash your face every day, microneedling is not going to do a whole lot for you in the long run, right?
Yeah.
So they don't have these talks with people, and then they expect too much. And you have to tell them how to take care of their skin afterwards. Like you can't be outside. You can't be like go and run a race. You can't like go work out and lift weights. You can't go in a sauna. Like there's so many things that they don't tell you, and then, I used when I would check people out, I'd just be like, "Just so you know, you can't do this, and this, and this." And they're like, "Really? Really?" And they were always shocked.
Just slide them a list.
I would. I got to a point where I would like print it out and send it to them because what do you mean you're going to an event on Saturday and today's Thursday and you got this treatment done? It's gonna take you like 7 days to recover from that, you know?
Yeah.
But they
That's
didn't
so,
care.
they didn't care. That's so interesting. And even maybe it was, I think it was like one of the first few times I went to see you, and you're like,
Mhm.
don't do this, 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 or this before you come. And I'm like, I didn't know any of that mattered.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know.
Mhm. No matter what, if it's waxing or facials, there are always things you need to be aware of before you do something.
Yeah. Wild. And
Mhm.
it's it's blows my mind. It blows my mind. Okay, I want to ask,
Mhm.
what do you think the worst thing that you've seen is? Like as far as being in the esthetician world.
I've seen there's this one instance where I was kind of like really alarmed by, and I actually had to intervene and put a stop to it from the doctor.
Hmm.
There was this lady who came in her late 40s. Somehow had convinced another doctor to put her on Accutane because she had 2 breakouts, which that's a whole different thing right there. Like, what? No. Okay. Anywho, she still was unhappy, came to this doctor, and he was suggesting to do a form of radio frequency with probes, which are, they go inserted into skin, they produce heat, direct heat into the skin. And he was like, we're going to go do this. And somehow, I don't even know how I was in the room, but I was in the room. And he was telling her all these things. And I was like, I'm going to have to tell you, like, I don't think I recommend this. And he looked at me and he was like, why? I was like, because she's actively on Accutane. We don't touch people who are on Accutane with a 10-foot pole for at least, I think they've changed it now, at least 6 months post. I follow the 1 year rule
Hmm.
because that changes a lot of stuff in your body, right? It's shrinking the sebaceous glands, and that in itself causes a lot of like host of problems for some people. And sometimes it's a miracle worker for others. So I'm not gonna like down it, but it's like you have to constantly get tested when you're on that every month, your vital, your organs. You can't do anything to them, especially heat induced treatment with a probe in the skin. And he was just like, really? And I was like, yeah, you can't do that. And the lady was like, why not? And I was like, no, ma'am, I understand you're frustrated, but unfortunately, there is no like miracle fix to this. You have to get it, time. I asked her, when did you start the Accutane? I've only been on it for a month. And I'm like, no, you're not going to get. There was just so many things wrong with this whole scenario. I think I just looked so baffled the whole time. And I don't think he let me into the room after. He was about to get like a $3,000 service that I turned him down on because what do you mean? I was like, first of all, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen because whatever he
Right?
was trying to, that treatment would, like I said, there was just so many things wrong with it. It wasn't even something that was, I would even do that treatment on her for what she was wanting to begin with, even if she wasn't on Accutane.
Yeah.
So I think that was like really, really a scary point. I remember coming out the room and talking to my coworker, like, girl, you won't believe what just happened. And she was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, how does he not, like, there's so
Sh-
many things going wrong there.
Surely he knew, especially if you were like not invited back into the room again. Like he had to have known what was going on.
Sometimes I really think it was,
Just
he just,
oblivious.
he just talks until things make sense to people, but doesn't really make sense at all.
Yeah, just
And I
says enough
think
words.
this is one of the conversations that I had with my coworker that, you know, people put a lot of weight into what he said because he had a PhD. He wasn't a dermatologist. He was a nurse practitioner with a PhD in cosmetics. But people put a lot of weight into what he said, but he was guessing a lot of the time. And his real, like, where he was really knowledgeable was in women's health.
Hmm.
because he also had a PhD in women's health. And I feel like that's where, in hormones and stuff, that's where he excelled. But somehow along the way, he picked up cosmetics and he ran with it, but he really did not understand skin. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, he had a host of issues. And I mean, I will be the first to say, like, you can't always judge the person because, I know I struggled with acne for years. I still struggle with acne, although I probably have it the best under control now after I did my epigenetics and understanding. And I'm very stress induced and I'm also very estrogen heavy and I'm histamine prone. So
Mm-hmm.
I know those things about myself, right? And I work the best that I can and using the right skincare, not too much, just the right. I've worked on myself, but he had a host of problems that he couldn't figure out for himself, even as a PhD. Um, and he knew nothing about real skin with others. Like he knew nothing. I can say that 100% knew nothing. And then I worked with another doctor and I didn't think it could get worse. She like God, it's so like I got out of there as fast as I could, honestly, because she was my moral compass was like all over the place. So I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Um, she would never like when she did Botox on clients, she never actually sat down and asked them what they wanted to work on ever.
But she know where to inject them.
She just would go and be like, okay, I'm going to do this many units and then go and leave the room, which is a no-no. You should be always pulling that out in front of the client so they know that they're getting what they paid for.
Mm.
If you're getting Botox, you want to make sure you see it being removed from the vial of Botox. She could be charging you for Botox and going in the back and pulling out just for it, and it's a different price point, lower price point, and giving you 30 units of that, which would do nothing for you. So she would leave the room, go and pull it, and come back and just be bah, bah, bah. She'd make you pay up front before administering it.
What?
Um, and then she would leave the room.
She
No
never came
conversation
back?
to be had. One girl was like, "Hello?" So I came into the room and she's like, she didn't even talk to me. So I tried to like talk to her and be like, okay, what is it that you want to work on and this? And I was telling her, okay, after this, because it was her first time getting it, you can't do these. She's like, oh, I didn't know. And so I went back to go look for the doctor. I was like, hey, that girl had a lot of questions for you. She was just sitting at her desk watching TikTok videos. And
I'm like,
she did that for 30 minutes before she came back.
yikes.
Yeah, and then, with her specifically and this is why I was like, "No, I can't do this anymore. I need to work for myself." She, wanted to promote a sale on their laser services because I was a laser technician as well, but her idea of promoting a sale was to, uh, mark up
Mm.
60% and then say it was 60% off, and it'd be the actual price that it was. And she's like, that's how everybody does it. And I was like, no, nobody does that. And then I packed up my stuff and I did not come back.
Yeah, that's
I'm not
crazy.
like, she just cared about money. She didn't care at all about anybody. She had so many bad reviews. I am surprised that place is still open. I'm actually surprised both places are still open because I'm
It goes
sure that,
even deeper than that, but
yeah, it really does. I've been around to see almost a few lawsuits on one place, and the other one, I'm just wondering why one hasn't happened yet.
right. That's so crazy because, like, I mean, Botox should help people, right? Like, it's there if you feel like you're upset with your wrinkles and you just
Mhm,
want to like refresh. I don't
mhm,
know a lot about Botox. Like, that's not something that's knocking on my door or like I've ever been curious
mhm.
about. But like, if you want to get it, cool. Do what you do, you
Yeah,
know?
I've never
But
had it done.
well, I think for me, and obviously there's always going to be a limit or work, work time,
Mhm,
usually more than work that you have to give it.
mhm,
But our bodies are so cool and they're able to heal themselves. I think
Mhm.
even, you know, someone that deals with really dry skin, and I'm going to use myself as an example. I know that my thyroid kind of, woo, it goes up and down.
Mhm.
Like those hormones aren't always where they need to be. And I know that's part of what adds to my dry skin.
Right.
Like it's not necessarily because I'm not lotioning enough or I'm not using the right lotion. I think it's just my thyroid hormones are off, and when they're off, like it
Mhm.
expresses through my skin.
Mhm.
And so for me knowing that, it's like, okay, how can I help my thyroid? How can I add in more nourishing I read this book, Free Your Fascia, right? And it talks about gel waters, right?
Right.
So, like eating things like cucumbers, tomatoes, grapes, things that are food, but they're highly infused with water, or the water
Mhm.
content's really high. It
Mhm.
gives you a different form of water that your body's absorbing and using. So, there's all these things that we can do instead of just going straight to the quick fix. And it's so weird because it's like people want the quick fix. And so these doctors are like, me too, I want the quick dollar.
Mhm.
And then all of this fuckery happens in the
Mhm.
middle of it.
Mhm.
And then people are upset because they're like, oh, well, half my face is paralyzed now because I did Botox. I'm not sure that's the thing that's possible, but I feel like it
It's
might be.
usually one eyebrow's higher and one's lower.
Oh,
See, I've never had it done because one, I don't care that much to get it done. Like, I'm not scared of expression lines. I mean, it
no.
shows that I've lived a very good life, right? I'm not ashamed of them. And not that to say that people are, but I am comfortable with them, right? And also, I just never trusted anybody enough because I've seen so many like mishaps, right? So to me, it's not worth it. To
Yeah.
others, it is, and they have great results. Cool. And I would just tell them, like, hey, just this is when you couple that with like the right skincare treatments, you can really make that dollar go a long way, right? You
Mm-hmm.
spend a lot of money on Botox. I feel like on average, and this is like probably like 2 years ago, the average was like maybe $500 at the minimum
Yikes.
every 3 months because they metabolize about that long.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. So it is a big dollar ticket, but like it just gets out of hand and they don't really like warn people, right?
Yeah.
And just kind of touching on what you were saying that that your thyroid contributes to the dryness, right? So that's the one end of the deal, right? But you can still do, facials or treatments and use products to help
Mm-hmm.
work on that, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you're getting something from over the counter, it may not be enough to combat that along with what you're doing because they just don't have the same efficacy as like
Mm-hmm.
professional products. And I fully believe that that professionally made ingredients are superior to what you can get over the counter. Um and like, that's why I started using Korean skincare in my
Mm-hmm.
practice because they are ahead of time here when it comes to skincare. And their philosophy is very similar to my philosophy in skincare, right? It's all about nurturing. Their products are not about breaking down, then building up. That is very much the American way of skincare.
Mm-hmm.
Let's burn your face off and then we'll work on everything else, right? Like
Yeah.
let's kill the bacteria and then we'll work on your barrier because you're going to damage the barrier to fix that afterwards, right? But Korean skincare is like, let's cradle that barrier of yours and then sprinkle in all the other stuff to heal it together. And when you have the right ingredients and you're doing what you have to do on the inside as well, you have like the perfect recipe, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times people just don't want to have a routine to do, to give them the outcomes that they want. And it doesn't have to be like 10 things. I tell people cleanse, moisturize, SPF is necessary,
Mm-hmm.
and that's literally it. Like, if you want to target something, then I would say get a serum specific to that. But that's all you need. That's all I do. And then I do like my treatments on myself. So, it doesn't have to be that complicated. And I think people get so overly stimulated by what's out there in consumerism. And TikTok tells you you need to have this one and that one. And these people are not estheticians. They know nothing about skin. They just know what works for them, if it even works for them, because they make commission off of that stuff too. But yeah, you find someone who understands skin and understands that, like, hey, if on the surface level something isn't working, something underneath is the problem, and now we need to address those problems and work together to give you the goals that you want.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, and people overcomplicate things. And I do think the consumerism is a big piece, right? Like your phone's
Yeah.
telling you you need this, this, and this. And like I think when I first started going to you, I was using Beauty Counter, now Counter,
Mhm.
because they're safer products. Like they worked great. I
Mhm.
loved them. Thought they did a great job. Um, I'm using Clear Stem right now. Love it for the most part. The moisturizer isn't quite enough for what my
I know.
skin needs, right? Because I'll
Mhm.
find myself like halfway through the day, I'm like, oh, I think I need to like put more on, Like it
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
feels, I don't even want to say dry. Sometimes my skin will get dry and then I'll have more oil feeling than like
Mhm.
dryness because my skin will overproduce to like overcompensate for it. And
Right.
that's just my face.
Exactly.
My
Mhm.
legs will just do whatever they want. They just stay dry unless I'm in a good place with my thyroid and my lotioning routine because I don't know
Right.
why I can lotion my face every day to lotion my body. Like that's asking too much.
That's too much work.
It's asking too much, guys. But it's so interesting because it's like people can see the difference. And I think that's one of my biggest things with social media is it's like getting across the point of like, yes, I can give you tips and tricks
Mhm.
in literally in any like scenario, any rabbit hole you want to go in. You can find tips and
Mhm.
tricks, but until you fully commit to whatever it is that you're wanting to change, like it just isn't going to matter
Yeah.
because you're just running around doing like all these little things, and then you're overdoing and you're overbuying, and then the next thing you know, you're just like lost.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I always say that I'm kind of an acquired taste as an esthetician because I'm not gonna be there like telling you to get like 20 things. Because some people want to be told that they need a bunch of stuff, right?
Hmm.
And I am not that person at all. And I'm that person that will give you the reality and real life expectations. And I'm not scared to do that. You know, I'm not scared to be like, hey, yeah, that's great, but it's not going to do anything for you if you don't do this. I have some people who just will not wear SPF at all, but their main concerns are sunspots and aging. Well, and I always give them this choice. If you want to come here and still do these treatments that target pigment, by all means. But I'm going to tell you right now, if you're not protecting that investment, you're just going to be coming to me for the rest of your life because nothing's ever going to fix that. And also, like, people don't realize, like, pigmentation, once those cells are damaged, they're damaged for life. So they will never 100% go away. You can just trick the skin into calming down so that they're not so visible. And that's more with like sunspots, depending on how deep they are. And then melasma is a whole different thing. That's a hormonal issue and it's very heat sensitive. So out here in Texas, you're screwed. In the summertime, it's always going to be so visible no matter what you do. But like people have been told that you could just get rid of it. And I'm like, that's not what happens. You don't get rid of it, you calm it down so it's not so visible. But the minute you go and spend a whole day outside in the sun and don't protect yourself, it's going to come back and it's usually going to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah.
And people are just like, so like, what? I never knew that. And I'm like, that's just how it works. That's how the skin works. You
Right? Why
can't
do
get
people
rid of
hate
it.
SPF so much?
I don't know. I mean, I
It's too
do.
simple.
People, I don't know. People want a quick fix. I think that's
Yeah.
really what it is. And realizing that it's not a quick fix, they get like instantly turned off by things. And they think, hey, let me spend a few $100 here and be done with it. And you're like, no,
See you in a
you
couple
can't do that.
months.
I mean, I'm still working on people just cleansing their skin. That's how
Yeah.
lazy some people are, and they will admit that that's why they don't do it, because they're lazy. But I'm like, cool, but I can't do anything else because it's not going to get through that layer of, like, first of all, dirt, grime, pollution, and dead skin cells that are just hanging there. And they're the
Yeah.
ones that when they walk out of their facial, they're like, my skin's brand new. I was like, yeah, because it's been hiding.
Hiding
Like,
under all the dead
that's what
skin
your skin look
cells.
like. And you know what? Even then, that's still like not enough to convince people to take care of their skin.
Really?
It's like the laziness is real, and they'll be like, I'm just lazy. I don't want to do it. And I'm like, but it's just like, ah, I can't even get into that because to me, like washing my face, I could be dead on my feet and I will still floss, brush my teeth, and wash my face. Like that is
Yeah.
non-negotiable every day,
And it
no
takes like
matter
3
what.
minutes.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Non-negotiables.
Non-negotiables, 3 to 5 minutes,
Now, like,
guys.
if I don't wash my face, I feel like I didn't wash my body. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's just gross to me. And maybe that's just because I know so much about the skin, but in general, I'm always like, you need to, at the very minimum, wash your face. And you need to wash it at least twice in one sitting in the evenings.
Yeah.
It's not
And
that hard.
and it's so crazy. It's so crazy. Like I I deal with this with my son, right? But
Mhm.
he's a 15-year-old boy. I don't expect him to want to wash his
Right,
face.
right. Teens,
But
boy, teens are a different story.
and they're gross. But we
They're
don't
just
have to go down that rabbit hole.
but their extractions are the best.
Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you. The other well, he's playing football right now, right? So
Mhm.
he's got his chin strap
Oh, here.
all around here, right? But it was last week he had this pimple right here, and you could see it. And
Mhm.
he like usually I'll just put like a little charcoal mask on there, like let's
Uh-huh.
just kind of get some of it
Uh-huh.
out naturally. And he was like, it really hurts. And I was like, all right, let me go wash my hands. Like, let's look at it. I swear to God, Stephanie, there were like 4 pimples in there. It was so like I want to say gross, but like I want to like I'll watch the pimple popper videos. I was like, it was so like just satisfying. I'm like, oh, you're good
Did they
now.
have the heads to them, the white head?
Only one. Only one. And it was just on the top. And so I squeezed it, but I was like, no, it's still there. And so I just squeezed again and I got it. And he was like, okay. I was like, just it'll stop hurting, I promise. Just go wash your face. And I told him, I was like, you don't want that to happen. This is why we wash our face.
Mhm. Mhm.
I gave you a face wash to wash your face.
Yeah. Yeah. I had one boy, he was so sweet. I started seeing him when he was like 15 to about 17, and he played football too, and he had bad acne. And I'd gotten him to a point where he was good, but then he went into baseball. And I just think no matter how much I try to explain, and I would actually go through the motions with him, like, how do you wash your face? Let me show you how you're supposed to wash your face. And I had to keep going over these scenarios because he just wasn't doing it right. And when he didn't have to play sports, his skin cleared up, but it was just all the dirt and sweat and the helmets and they're practicing for hours and it's hot out here, and they're in the shower for like probably 2 minutes and then they're done, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is workable. We can fix this, but you got to do your part, right? And then I'll remove all the blackheads and then we'll get you to a clean slate. It was just like,
He said, nah.
and then he's like, what else can I do? And I'm like, just wash your face, dude. And like, it's not that hard. And I would tell him, like, get little alcohol pads and like wipe the chin, whatever. I know nothing about these sports. I just know they have stuff on their heads, right? Helmets of some
Mhm.
sorts. So I'm like, wipe them down
Yeah.
and try to do what you can on your end to do that, right? Forget about it.
Forget about it.
Once they get a girlfriend, maybe we'll come back to that because that's when they start to care about how they look. But otherwise, they don't care.
Mm-mm. They
I
don't.
mean, they care, but not enough to make a change.
No, not to wash their face every day, apparently.
Good Lord, I'm scared to know what else is going on there.
Uh, who knows? Who knows? I don't want to know.
No.
Well, and it's funny though, because it's when you talk about, I also have like a real idea for you if you're open to it of just
Yeah.
like popping in and be like, what can I do for this? Wash your face.
Yeah,
What can I do for this? Wash your face.
that's so fun. Well, let me write this down. Wash your face. If you see it pop up in the next month, you know.
I know. Woo!
I know, I do love to mix in some funny videos, right? Because I can't take life too seriously. And honestly, I do it because it makes me laugh so much at myself. Like, I'm okay to be, the goofy person who makes a total ass of themselves, but I crack up so much when I film those things. Even if no one liked it, I would just be cackling to myself
Yeah.
because it's fun to do. I have a really funny one coming out tomorrow, but it'll probably be a while before. And you know what makes me laugh is when I can convince people to like join in with me.
This is another special feature. I love these. I love them. So, okay, if you need to know, I always laugh at your funny ones. So it's not just you by yourself. I'm always laughing. I'm the same way though. Like recording videos, sometimes I'll like get on here and I'm just like, here I am. Here's the things. And I'm like, ew. So then I'm like, this isn't me. Like, let's sort it out. Let's bring it out. Let's bring in some fun. Let's laugh at it.
Mhm,
Like, you have to laugh. I love
mhm.
having fun.
Yeah, yeah, I know. It I'm like, I need to throw in every so often because it just feels like a reset, right? Let's laugh
Hmm.
at this and then we can get back to like learning.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we'll get back to it. It's good to, well, and it gets them in too. They're like, oh, she's funny. She's funny.
Mhm.
What can I learn from her? Oh, she's funny and smart.
I sometimes cringe and I'm like, you know what? Whatever. I don't care. It's funny. It is
Yeah.
what it is.
And I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen, right?
It's just gonna live forever on the internet.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Whatever.
At least
Yeah,
it's not a
can't
naked
take it
picture,
back, but it's all right.
right? There could be worse things, that's for sure.
This is very true.
There could be worse things. Okay. So we're almost at that time to wrap up, but I wanted to highlight your artistry as well behind you. We're just promoting Stephanie in this episode. So you do take, what do you call it? When people come to you and say, "Hey, can you do this for me?" An
Like
artwork?
custom portraits.
Yes, thank you. My brain was not getting there. She does custom portraits. I've seen them. They're beautiful. Highly recommend if you're looking for a custom portrait, even if you listen to this for the esthetician piece and then you're like, I think I need a portrait actually. She's your girl. Or for people that don't live in the Houston area, Katy area, like if you need a portrait done, like she's your girl.
Yeah.
Um, Viridian Spa is located in Katy,
Mhm.
and it is just quite the vibe. She decorated it herself, and I love going there. Like I said, she has magic in her hands and does such an amazing job every time.
Thank you.
Of course. And definitely follow her on Instagram because she is funny and fun and silly, and it's just fun to watch. So will you tell the people where they can book with you, where they can find you?
Yeah. So
All
I'm
those
very
things.
active on Instagram. I mean I have TikTok too and Facebook, but Instagram is kind of like I'm the true millennial there. So it'd be at Viridian.spa. And I pretty much keep everyone up to date on there. If there's any promos going on, I'm gonna be having some fun stuff for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So I'm very active on stories and reels and carousels that I'm always educating and talking about and showcasing and romanticizing spa life. Really try to do like fun close-ups of like what a facial looks like and from my point of view of how I see it. And then of course trying to teach people and educate people on things like that and having my funny moments too. So and then on there are all my booking links once you go into Instagram. I have all my links on there as well.
Perfect. And yeah, she's amazing. And her waxing's also amazing. She didn't mention that, but we wow. We touched on it a little bit,
Yeah.
but Her waxing services are also amazing. She does not go in super fast and
Mhm.
abuse your skin. She takes her time.
That's a really nice way to put it.
Thank you. I mean, you know how it can be. We've talked about my personal experiences. It's
Yes.
dicey, but
Yeah, you're not the only one. I mean, I have a very different philosophy when it comes to waxing. Don't I'm not trying to get you in and out. I'm trying to make sure it's a comfortable experience. I'm not trying to do this whole thing in like like 5 strips and be done. Like I feel like that's why I have so many loyal waxing clients. 10 years of experience doing it and really trying to put the clients, make everybody comfortable. It's already an intimate thing to get done. And you don't want to just be jumping around place to place trying to guess that you're going to find a place that works. So I have a very different philosophy on waxing for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And it shows. But yeah, if you are needing an esthetician in the Katy or Houston area, look for Stephanie at Viridian Spa, and she will take care of what you need, not what makes her money. So
Yeah, that should be my slogan.
it should be. All right. Well, thank you for being here with me today.
I love that we got to do this.
Yes, me too. Thank you so much for listening to Expand the Conversation podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a review of the podcast on your favorite platform. Your feedback means the world to me. If you have any questions, comments, or topic suggestions for future episodes, reach out to me on social media. I would love to hear from you. So let me know you are listening and stay updated on all things Expand the Conversation. Be sure to follow and tag me on Instagram at expandtheconversation.podcast. If you know someone who would benefit from this episode, please share it. See you next time.